All righty. Hey, welcome everyone to our next edition of the Roots of Leadership. Here with Coach Fry. I'm Coach Woody, and we're excited to come to you live today, just to explain it and just to dive in just a little bit deeper into these roots of leadership and what that looks like, and how we can certainly just immerse ourselves in that. So with that being said, just want to touch just on a few things today. The general theme of today's topic will be what is missing in leadership, and it's a topic that it's hard to dialogue because as a leader, we want to think that we have it all together, don't we, Coach Fry? But that's not always the case, and so I think it's really important just to take a step back and just if we look at leadership as a whole, leadership in general, what are some things that may be missing in leadership in general. And so the first topic that we're going to kind of talk about today with that is just the ability to be humble. And I know certainly I've been humbled many times in my life. And when we go through it, it's not always fun, but it's certainly something that will produce much fruit because of that. So Coach Fry, I'm gonna just kind of turn this over to you for a second, and what as a leader and as you've seen this thing kind of unfold and progress, just your initial thoughts on humility and how we can exemplify that as a leader and what that looks like in an organization and in a high functioning organization where it benefits not only the leader, but obviously the colleagues and everyone that is involved in this. So.
Yeah, well, thank you. I'm super excited because this is something I'm really, really passionate about. And one of the things that you see in the military or even the Navy SEALs, my man Jocko Willing talks about it, it's the number one trait. Humility is the number one trait in a leader. That's what you want, okay? And what that does is that opens that up for the team's mission to be accomplished. Okay. So when there is humility, that means the leader is able to open up and go, okay, I don't have all the answers, but my team does. And so it's going to be something to where I have to let it go in order to see success, in order for our team to accomplish the mission. Because if I don't have humility and I don't say, okay, I don't have all the answers, so I go to you, then that, if I stay focused on just applying the answers, then that takes me away from my ability to see bigger picture. But when I allow myself to pass the torch on to somebody else, then what that's going to do is allow me to break and detach a little bit and go, okay, all right, I'm able to see it now from a different perspective and a different point of view. So I think humility is really, really big. And your willingness to go, I don't have all the answers. I don't know, but I can get that answer to you. So definitely humility to me as my number one trait for a leader.
Mm-hmm. No, that's really, really good. And, it's been said that, the proud will be humbled and the humble will be exalted. And so it's just a matter of time, as a leader that you're going to be humbled. And so if you're able to portray that and exhibit that on a daily basis, where that is part of your culture and that is the norm, where where humility just exudes from you and it transpires into everyone else in your culture and in your organization, then that's one less thing that you'll have to fall on. And we talk about falling on the sword. That's one less thing we'll have to fall on, is if we're able to be humble and practice humility on a day in and day out basis, as opposed to when that time comes, because it's just a matter of time when it comes. Yeah. that we are humbled in a much different way if we don't exude just what humility looks like on a daily basis. And I will certainly say from experience, I've been there, and that's never fun. And so if we can just understand the importance of humility and what that looks like and resembles throughout an organization, I think that would be that'll help us certainly in the long run. And it'll also display that to our colleagues and people who we are in a leadership position over, just so that they can see, what that looks like on a daily basis as well. So, just one aspect of what we see in leaders, and one thing that because when you're at the top, a lot of times you have blind spots, and so it's important to point these things out in order for us to become better, and to become the best leaders that we certainly are capable of becoming. So with that being said, kind of leads us to our next phase here, and self-awareness. Oftentimes, all you have to do is talk to my wife, and she'll have a different perspective of me than what I often do of myself. And so, but in reality, just self-awareness is something extremely important as a leader, and having a healthy self-awareness as a leader is extremely not only important, but it's viable in the sense that you have to have an understanding of who you are, but also how people value you and how people see you, and what that perspective entails as well. So Coach Fry, any thoughts on self-awareness and how that directly implicates throughout the rest of an organization?
Yeah. So self-awareness is crucial to leadership and to your team, simply because when you think about it, I've got something wrong with this kid. There's something about this kid. There's something about this member on my team. There's something wrong, and I just can't get it, and it bothers me. And I don't like that kid. I don't like that person that's on my team. It's not that person. There's something wrong with me. There's an issue that's wrong with me. And so what I think that what a lot of coaches need to do is they need to become aware of that trigger. Okay. And if I'm not aware of that trigger, then I blow up. Then I have an issue with practice. And now all of a sudden I lose a lot of my credibility simply because I yell at a kid for them doing something wrong, even though that's something that, that might be in our standards. But it's that kid that I didn't like, or it's that member of my team that I didn't like. I lose credibility. Well, I lose all my credibility the second I do that. And so what I've got to do is become aware of, okay, what happened? Why is that bothering me? So I've got to go back. I've got to once again detach, and I have to go, okay, I had this trigger, something happened. And then I have to make sure that I am aware of the situations that might cause that trigger again. Okay, so certain situations that arise in practice, I've got to be aware that might happen. And then I can automatically fuel that or give a cue to where there's a different thought process. So then I'm ready to fuel my brain to, as soon as that thought process comes in where I don't like that kid, it's no, I need to know a little bit more about that kid, or I need to know a little bit more about my teammate, or I need to automatically shift to, okay, what's important right now? So it's just a simple cue that can get me to, when I understand that a trigger is happening, that I automatically have a response for that. And I think that would be huge for a lot of leaders. And so that way we don't ever blow up. That way that kid doesn't hear us say certain things that they should never hear us say anyways. But all of our members on our team can stay focused on the team and the vision and the mission of whatever that is to be successful.
That's a good word. And if we tie in, humility and self-awareness, because a lot of times, and I'm sure we know a lot of leaders that are extremely boastful, and that's a part of this thing is we have to acknowledge when we may be puffed up with pride, and it may be after a good a big win or a big accomplishment, but we have to be self-aware and to know that if we're trending that way, we have to self-check. And that's where this piece really comes into play. I know, for me personally, when I was a head coach, I would with our players, like I was not the guy that had to have, head coach written across his forehead. Like everybody knew I was a head coach, right? So I didn't have to, you have to address me and say, Coach Woody. It was Woody, and to me that was just a self-check. Because I know that if I was able to display the just to display respect, for that I have for my team and for the team that had for me, in a humble way where, they didn't have to say, they didn't have to address me as in a title sense, but just, they would prove to me that they respected me by the way that they played and by the way they carried out our values, not by just having a title or something written across my forehead that said, "Hey, everyone, I'm the head coach." Like that, the title was not important, but it was more of, me being self-aware and me being humble in the sense that, look, like we're in this thing together. And I think that's what leaders really need to focus in on. And it's certainly, we've all heard the saying, it's we before me, and there's no I in team, and it's certainly the case. And I think as leaders, we need to certainly understand that, and to know that it just because you may have a title or whatnot, it's certainly it's all about the team in any capacity. And I think the ability, Coach Fry, to be self-aware in regards to that is absolutely just enormous, in that regard. So, and then with that, another topic that we see leaders, just either miss or they're just not aware, or they just don't want to do it, but for whatever reason it's missing. And that's what we want to touch on, is the fact that the ability or lack thereof to give ownership. And, you think of, the best leader ever to do this leadership thing. He had 12 disciples, and he gave them a ton of autonomy to carry this thing out for the rest of the world, right? Where, we as leaders want to do everything and anything by ourselves. And I think we see really great leaders. Notice I didn't say dictators, but really great leaders. Those are the ones that are confident in not only what they're doing, but their ability to relay a certain message, and know and to know that message will get relayed out as you continue to pour and put responsibility on others, because that will allow your team to gain responsibility. And with responsibility, they'll feel like they're a part of something that's bigger than themselves. See, oftentimes we just want to put people in boxes and make sure it's the leader show, but real and true leadership, okay, has the ability and the capacity to raise and encourage and to lift others up, and so that they feel a part of something, and that they know they're a part of something that is just much more than themselves. So, Coach Fry, anything to add on just the ability to give ownership and just how important that is in this thing that we call leadership?
Yeah, man, it is so crucial, so important. And one of the best things I love about it is, in the end, the job gets done. Okay, so if the leader does it, the job gets done. Okay, but then that means that they're juggling so many different things. But if the leader can pass it on, and he gives it to somebody who is a manager or an assistant coach or another member of another colleague, when they give it to them, they might do it a different way, but it gets done. Okay, and that's just less stress, less decision making on the leader's plate. So then they can actually focus on, once again, big picture. So if they pass it on and they give it to somebody else and say, "Hey, get the job done. It doesn't matter how we get it done, but it's got to get done," then that person now takes it. They run with it. It's their baby, not the leader's baby. So when they take it and it's their baby, what do you think? Like, what's the effort level going to be for somebody? If I give you the job, you're going to do your absolute best. You're going to make this presentation as best as you can. You're going to be as ready for whatever answers come, whatever questions come. You're going to be ready to provide that experience for the entire team. And when that occurs, now you look at great teams, right? Well, a lot of times the coach of that great team kind of gets played in the background because everybody knows that it's the team. And that's what a great leader does. The great leader they don't take the limelight. They're not in front of everything. They're not shining. They're making everybody else shine so the team looks really, really amazing, and they're in the background. Okay, and so that's kind of what true leadership is. So if we can do more cultivating our leaders to do better jobs, our teams to do better job, to own their part in whatever play that they're in. Okay, I'm not saying role, they're owning their part, because every part matters to the best of its ability. It's not a role, so never think it's a negative connotation, but it's a positive. My part means everything. It doesn't matter how small or big, but it means everything. So if I can take it and run with it, I'm going to do my best.
Mm-hmm. So that's a great word, the ability to give ownership. And I think a lot of times that has to do with, just how secure are you as a leader? Are you willing and able? Are you confident enough in one, not only in yourself, but your staff and the people that you have, that you've surrounded yourself with? Have you equipped them to go off and to do this thing to the very best of their ability? And if not, why? And so, so we just want to keep everything wound so tight a lot of times, because at the end of the day, it does come back on a leader, right? That's a fact. But have you equipped yourself and your team enough to show the value in another individual, where you trust them and say, you know what, I believe in you, I trust you, I know you're going to get this done at a high level, and everyone's going to be better because of that. And so, just a few things, humility, is just, it's a huge, it's a huge thing to let go of when we talk, of pride and just what that is in leadership, and and the ability just to, to let go of some things, is one aspect of an important leader, and what that looks like. So with that being said, we appreciate you all on this dialogue here. And Coach Fry, thank you for all that you do. Obviously, good word as always, and we will continue to bring you you're just the roots of leadership. And remember, leaders, this is a process. Okay, you're not in this alone. It's easy to feel isolated at the top, but surround yourself with people that you love, and you can trust, and that are going to make you better because of that. Have a great day, y'all.
See you guys.